Welcome to RaceMate Podcast. I'll be talking about travel tourist visa and K1 visa combined. But before I get into that, let me say something here. There's a lot of platform out there, like social media platforms, where people dating site, regular chat site, where people meet up. A lot of these people, sometimes singles, and try to meet someone. Now, there's a lot of people overseas outside of the United States would like to come to the United States. So they're on those platforms and they try to meet a United States citizen so they can get a visa to live in the United States permanently. So what they do, they talk with each other, communicate on the platform or on phone once they get to know each other more, and one decide to travel, the one outside of the United States decide to travel to the United States so they can be with that person. Now, like I say, travel tourist visa, it takes a shorter time to get to the United States if they're going to grant you one. The K1 visa takes much longer time. So that individual outside the United States, their intention and what's in their mind is once they get to the United States, they would marry that person and try to stay in the United States. Now, getting married on a tourist visa, it is not illegal. Yes, you can get married in the United States. A tourist visa, they issue that so you can visit friends, family, relatives, medical attention. That is the purpose of the tourist travel visa. Not to get married and not to stay in the country over the 90 days or 3 months, whatever they give you in your passport to stay in the United States. Now, because of your intention to get married, you get here, you get married. Now, once you get married, you file for a green card. That's what you're doing. That is illegal. That immigration consider as fraud. And by considering that as fraud, you can go to jail, you can pay a fine or both, and then deported to your country, back to your country. If you file that I-485 and immigration accept it by paying the fee along with the application, they will accept it. And if they call you for a marriage interview, there will be 2 separate interviews. On that day, given day, you'll be in one room, the other party will be in another room, and 2 people gonna interview, ask questions about your marriage and life and everything. When they finish, they're gonna switch. They're gonna switch you both. They're gonna ask questions again. Once they complete this time, they're gonna put things together. And if they see where you're lying on this application, then what happened? Like I say, you can pay a fine and go to prison at the same time, or both, or deported to your country. It's going to be one of the 3. They're not going to issue you the visa. So think twice on what you want to do or how you're going to do it. Now, if you decide to go for the K1 visa, which is the fiancé visa, that is much better. So I would advise you not to do the tourist visa. But if you do the tourist visa, this is what you need to do. Yes, get married if you want to get married. But once you get married, you go back to your country and then you file for the green card. If you stay here, you got to file a paper, the documents to adjust your status from tourist visa. Okay? So now we get that. So look back into the K1 visa, as I started before. Once you meet this individual, it's hard for a person out of the United States to get into the United States without a visa. It's not easy. So, you're the citizen of the United States. You can go to almost all the countries without a visa. So you can go to that person's country, you can spend some time with them, but while you're there, if you plan on being with that individual, then you can make plans to meet in the United States. If you want to make that plans, this is what you need to do. You need to take at least 20 pictures with both of you, going sightseeing, walking, going out and have dinner, and various activities. But you'll need at least 20 pictures as a proof to show that you are meeting. Now, after that, you got to make sure that person you're planning to get into the United States have no criminal record. You got to check that. They're not married. They're single. Once those are okay, Then when you get back to the United States, you can file for that individual to come to the United States on a K1 visa. They have to pass criminal background check, medical check. Once they get to the United States, you got 90 days to marry to that individual. Once you get married, within that 90 days, you have to file a I-485 for that individual for a green card. While you file that application, that person can stay with you in the United States until they get a green card. They don't have to go back to the country. But there's two forms you can fill out along with the I-485. A travel documents, just in case this individual have to go back to their country for an emergency like death in the family or something like that. They can travel without any problem coming back into the country. Or say you want to leave the country and go someplace, you can take that individual with you and you have no problem getting back. The second thing, if that person want to work, you can get a work permit for that individual. So it's best to file all three documents at the same time. For the travel document, the work permit, and for the green card. Now they call it permanent resident card. Once you do all that, you sit back, relax, and wait, and prepare the documents as true as possible. Don't lie in your documents when you prepare these documents, either for a travel visa or for a green card. You got to be honest with your opinion, your answers, because sometimes when we lie about one thing, we forget about it. When someone asks us about it, we give them a different answer. And that's not going to work with immigration. They will turn you down. I hope you like this podcast and understand everything that I just explained. Please give me a like by clicking below and subscribe to the channel. And you can make a comment and I will respond to your comment, whatever you respond to say. With that, take care, and I wish you both all the luck and all the best and obtaining a visa so you can live in the United States permanently. Take care.